Have you ever noticed how some triathletes always seem to perform brilliantly on race day without posting huge workouts online or making a big fuss about their training? Well, today I'm going to lift the lid on the habits of these secretly fast triathletes. Stay with me and some of their methods might surprise you. Hi everyone, I'm Phil Mosley and I wanted to share a quick story. I have a friend, let's call him Dave, and Dave is a busy guy with a full-time job and a family, and he doesn't have the flashiest bike or post every run on Strava, but come race day, he consistently finishes at the front of the pack. So no fanfare, no hype, just solid performances every time. And it got me thinking, what's his secret? Over the years, I started to notice a pattern. There are triathletes and runners who, like Dave, train smart and balance life and sport and quietly get the work done. They're not boasting about every session and they always seem fit and ready. So in this video, I'm breaking down the 8 habits of these secretly fast triathletes. So whether you're a triathlete or a runner or a cyclist, these tips can help you train smarter and race faster without necessarily training more or spending a fortune on gear. So make sure you stick around until the end too, because habit 8 is the one that most people overlook, but it can make a real difference to your consistency and long-term fitness. Secretly fast triathletes make use of every opportunity to train. Have a 30-minute window at lunch? They'll squeeze in a tempo run. Need to get to work? They might bike commute and turn it into a mini workout. These athletes treat everyday moments like commuting or even running errands as chances to get fitter. For example, if they bike to meet a friend, they might take the long route and push the pace on hills. And over time, these little bonus workouts really add up. And the key here is flexibility. Instead of them saying, I don't have the time, they ask, how can I make the time? So maybe that means waking up 20 minutes earlier from some strength workout exercises or doing a quick swim during the kids' football practice. By sneaking in workouts wherever possible, they maintain consistency even with a busy schedule. This doesn't mean junk miles or overtraining though, it means being efficient and creative. So if the day's plan calls for an easy ride, why not make that your commute and kill 2 birds with 1 stone? Every bit of training with a purpose counts. Secretly fast triathletes turn their routine activities into training gold. This habit keeps their fitness ticking year-round without feeling like they're sacrificing huge chunks of time. So look at your weekly schedule and identify small pockets of time, and you might be surprised how often you can fit in a quality mini session. Another habit of these athletes is focusing on quality workouts. It's not just about doing junk miles or ticking off hours of training, it's about having a goal for each session. So if they have 45 minutes to train, they know exactly what to do in that time. Maybe it's a high intensity interval run to build speed or a technique focused swim with drills. The point is they don't just go through the motions, they train with intent. And because their time is limited, secretly fast triathletes ensure each workout has a purpose: endurance, strength, speed or recovery. For instance, instead of a leisurely bike ride with no plan, they might insert some race pace intervals during a commute or focus on holding a steady power on an uphill stretch. Even their easy sessions have a role, like active recovery or form practice, and they resist the temptation to turn every session into an all-out sufferfest. This quality-first approach means they improve performance more than someone doing double the hours of aimless training. Remember, it's not how long you train, but how you train. And an athlete doing 5 focused hours a week can often beat someone training 10 hours a week, but doing it without structure. So make sure that your workouts have clear objectives. When you hit start on that GPS watch or bike computer, know why you're training that day and what you want to accomplish. Let's face it, finding time for training is hard. Secretly fast triathletes willingly train at odd hours to get it done. Many of them become early birds, knocking out workouts before the world wakes up. The alarm might ring at 5 o'clock in the morning or earlier in some cases, and while others hit snooze, these athletes are lacing up their shoes or hopping on the bike trainer. Why? Because mornings often offer uninterrupted time. No work emails, no family obligations, just a quiet window to focus on training. And by the time their day officially starts, they've already ticked off a run or a swim, and it's a huge win mentally and physically. Now, not everyone is a morning person, and myself included, and that's okay. The principle is being willing to train when most won't. If that means late night sessions after the kids are in bed, they do it. They might join a 6 a.m. master swim group or go for a night run with a head torch. They're not making excuses like, I'm too busy today, because they create time when none exists. Of course, this habit requires discipline, and it also means prioritizing rest, because early trainers often go to bed earlier and structure their life to support those crack of dawn workouts. So the takeaway here is to find your quiet hour. Maybe it's early, maybe it's late, but be ready to train when others are sleeping or relaxing. It might be tough at first, but once it becomes routine, you'll love the feeling of accomplishment, seeing the sunrise, knowing your workout is already done. You might assume that the fastest triathletes always have the most expensive high-end gear, but one secret habit is optimizing what you have for performance. In other words, bike fit and gear setup trump having the latest gadget. A secretly fast triathlete might ride a 5-year-old bike, but it's finely tuned and it fits them perfectly. They spend time adjusting their position to be aerodynamic and comfortable, because an efficient position can save more time than an overpriced frame. They keep their equipment maintained, clean drivetrain, proper tyre pressure, so it rolls fast without unnecessary friction. These athletes also make smart gear choices within their budget. For example, instead of buying the priciest bike, they might invest in an aerodynamic helmet, good shoes, or a skin suit, which are things proven to give speed gains for less money. They know that 80% of drag on the bike comes from the rider's body, so they focus on a tight tuck, flat bike, and holding an aero position. It's not about looking cool, it's about free speed. A well-fitted tri-suit can reduce drag, for instance, and wax lubricants can lower your chain resistance, and they're little tweaks that add up to minutes saved over a race. Even in running, they'll choose the shoes that work best for them, maybe a carbon-plated racer for speed work and race day, and durable trainers for daily runs. They're not showing off a huge shoe collection, they find what's effective and stick with it. The takeaway here is that you don't need the newest £10,000 bike to be fast. Use your resources wisely, get a professional bike fit, keep your gear in top shape, and make strategic upgrades that give you real performance benefits. Optimizing your gear knowledgeably can level the playing field against athletes with deeper pockets. Another habit that sets these athletes apart is their understanding of race nutrition and fueling. Have you ever bonked in a race or felt your energy drain? Secretly fast triathletes rarely let that happen because they plan their nutrition meticulously. In the days leading up to an event, they might do a controlled carbohydrate load, ensuring their muscles are stocked with glycogen, which is essentially energy for race day. This could involve eating more rice or other carbs than usual about 2 or 3 days before the race, alongside proper hydration as well. On race morning, they have a routine, perhaps a light breakfast that they know sits well, like a bagel with peanut butter or a smoothie, and during the race they fuel consistently. For longer races like half or full Ironman triathlons, they'll have a plan to take in a certain amount of carbohydrate each hour through gels, sports drinks, bars or bananas or whatever works for them. Even in a sprint race, they won't neglect hydration and a bit of fuel if needed. They practice this in training too, testing which gels or drinks their stomach tolerates while pushing hard. The result? Come race day, their energy levels stay much more stable. It's not just about eating though, it's about timing and quantity. They know not to wait until they're starving or dehydrated. Instead, they take a gel every 20 minutes, sip fluids regularly, and listen to their body's signals. This habit of smart fueling can be the difference between a strong finish or a painful crawl to the line. So become a student of nutrition, experiment in training, find what works, and never neglect your fuel strategy on race day. One of the most visible differences in a seasoned, secretly fast athlete is pacing. These people are masters at pacing themselves. So rather than sprinting out the gate in excitement and then fading, they start controlled and often finish faster. You'll notice them steadily passing all the folks who went out too hard. This isn't just luck, it's a habit built from training and experience. They pay attention to their pacing in workouts, often using a heart rate monitor, power meter, or just perceived effort to make sure they're hitting the right intensity. Over time, they develop an inner clock for pacing themselves. In a race, a secretly fast triathlete might let others shoot ahead at the start, and it takes confidence to hold back when your adrenaline's high. But they know that their target pace, for example, they plan to run each mile at 7 minutes or bike at certain wattage, and then they stick to it. By mid-race, those early rabbits are slowing down and our smart pacer is gaining ground. They often execute negative splits, meaning the second half of their race is equal or faster than the first half, a classic sign of excellent pacing. This habit not only leads to better times, but also fewer awful experiences. Instead of hitting the wall, they have something left for a strong finish, or at least they avoid a meltdown. So how can you adopt this? Well, practice pacing in training. Do some long rides or runs where you purposefully start slower and finish faster. Get familiar with your sustainable effort for various distances. And on race day, run your race, not your competitor's race. In the end, consistent pacing will help you race at your true potential, and it really feels amazing to finish strong while others are fading. Behind the scenes, secretly fast triathletes often follow a structured training plan, even if they don't talk about it. They're not winging their training day to day, they have a roadmap, whether it's a plan from a coach or a book or a self-made plan from their own experience. And this plan balances hard workouts with easier days, includes all 3 triathlon disciplines, plus strength training or cross-training, and it builds up their fitness gradually. By following a structure, they avoid the pitfalls of overtraining or neglecting any one area. Each week might include interval sessions, long endurance workouts, technique practice, and recovery periods. But having a plan is only half of it, and the other half is consistency. Secretly fast athletes are incredibly consistent year-round. They don't just train for 3 months and then take a huge break and then start from scratch again. And training is just part of their lifestyle, so even in the off-season or when life gets busy, they keep a baseline of activity. Maybe in winter they switch to more gym workouts or shorter maintenance workouts, but they're still staying very active. So when it's time to ramp up for a race, they're already halfway there. Consistency also means they rarely miss workouts without a good reason. It's not that they're never tired or unmotivated, they just know that doing something is almost always better than doing nothing. Of course they listen to their bodies and they take rest when needed, and avoiding injury is another secret. They'd rather take one easy day than be forced to take a month off. Over months and years, this steady approach builds a huge engine. It's not flashy, but it does work. If you're training without a plan, you should check out my affordable training plans with rapid coach support, used by over 20,000 people each year. Head over to myprocoach.net or follow the link in the description to learn more. Then commit to being consistent. Think long term. Fitness is built over time, and the ones who stick with it, even with small efforts each day, are the ones who seem secretly fast eventually. It's not a secret at all, it's just consistency. Last but not least, secretly fast triathletes choose their battles wisely. It can be tempting to sign up for every local race or do back-to-back race weekends, but the quiet performers often race less frequently and focus on quality when they do race. They might pick a few key races in the year, say 2 or 3 triathlons and a couple of running events, and then they pour their energy into preparing for those. By being selective, they ensure that they can peak for the races that really matter. It's hard to be at 100% all the time, so they plan training cycles to peak at the right moment. For example, targeting that big Ironman 70.3 or the City Marathon. Additionally, racing sparingly means that when they do race, they're fresh and hungry for competition. They haven't burned out from traveling every weekend or from the mental fatigue of constant racing. They treat races almost like exams, something you build up to with preparation, tapering, and a strategy. This approach often leads to better performance than racing every other week with no plan. By not over-racing, they also avoid the recovery trap, which is where you race hard all the time and then you need recovery days or weeks to recover, which can then disrupt your training and your fitness. So fewer races equals more time to train effectively and fewer chances of injury. So when planning your season, be strategic. Mark your biggest goals and focus on being in your best shape for those days. It's okay to skip some popular races if they don't fit your plan. Remember, the goal is your personal performance, not how many finishers' medals you collect. The secretly fast athlete might have fewer medals overall, but the performances they do have are consistently strong. And if you found this video helpful, I think you'll love the one on screen right now, or check out our Beginner's Guide to Triathlon Training, which is a playlist. Are there any habits I missed that you think make a big difference? Let me know in the comments. And if you haven't already, subscribe for more tips on triathlon and running, and thanks for watching and good luck with your training.